What if I told you the richest person in history wasn't Elon Musk, wasn't Jeff Bezos, wasn't even a European king, but an African emperor so wealthy that when he traveled, he accidentally crashed entire economies? This is the story of Mansa Musa, the ruler of Mali, a man whose wealth was so vast, historians still struggle to calculate it today. And once you hear what he did with that wealth, you'll understand why his legacy still shapes the world. To understand Mansa Musa, you need to understand where he came from. In the 14th century, West Africa was home to one of the most powerful empires on earth, the Mali Empire. This wasn't a small kingdom. At its peak, Mali controlled massive territory across modern day Mali, Senegal, Niger, Guinea, Mauritania, and more importantly, it controlled something the entire world desperately wanted: gold. At the time, Mali was responsible for a huge portion of the world's gold supply. Some estimates suggest over 50% of global gold passed through this region. And where there is gold, there is power. Trade routes connected Mali to North Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. Salt, ivory, and gold flowed across the Sahara Desert, turning cities like Timbuktu into global trade hubs. This is the world Mansa Musa inherited. Mansa Musa became emperor around 1312. But his rise to power is unusual, according to historical accounts. The previous ruler, believed to be his predecessor, was obsessed with exploring the Atlantic Ocean. He launched an expedition with thousands of ships and never returned. Mansa Musa was left in charge, and once he took power, he didn't just maintain the empire, he expanded it. Under his rule, Mali grew stronger, richer, and more organized. He controlled key trade cities like Timbuktu, Gao, Jen. He strengthened administration, expanded trade networks, and turned Mali into a global economic powerhouse. But what truly made Mansa Musa famous was not just his wealth, it was how he displayed it. In 1324, Mansa Musa made a decision that would change history. He set out on a pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj, one of the most important journeys in Islam. But this wasn't an ordinary pilgrimage. This was a display of wealth the world had never seen before. Historical records describe a caravan so massive, it stretched for miles. It included 60,000 people, thousands of soldiers and attendants, hundreds of camels, each carrying gold, slaves dressed in silk, each holding gold bars. Imagine that, an entire moving city, crossing the Sahara Desert. And everywhere Mansa Musa went, he spent money generously. In cities like Cairo, he gave away so much gold that he caused inflation. Yes, he literally devalued gold in Egypt. Prices rose, markets were disrupted, and the economy took years to stabilize. That's how rich he was. Not just wealthy, but economically influential on an international scale. News of this journey spread across Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. For many Europeans, this was their first introduction to the immense wealth of West Africa. Mansa Musa became a legend, but Mansa Musa wasn't just about wealth and spectacle. He invested in something far more powerful: knowledge, culture, and religion. After returning from Mecca, he brought back scholars, architects, and artists. He transformed cities like Timbuktu into centers of learning. He built mosques, libraries, schools. One of the most famous was the Jingareba Mosque in Timbuktu. Timbuktu soon became one of the most important intellectual centers in the world. Students traveled from across Africa and the Islamic world to study subjects like mathematics, astronomy, law, theology. At its peak, Timbuktu housed tens of thousands of manuscripts. This wasn't just an empire of gold. It was an empire of ideas. Mansa Musa understood something many rulers didn't. True power isn't just wealth. It's influence, knowledge, and legacy. So, how rich was he, really? Modern economists have tried to estimate his wealth. But there's a problem. It's almost impossible. Why? Because his wealth was tied directly to natural resources, especially gold, on a scale that doesn't translate easily into modern currency. Some estimates suggest his net worth would be over $400 billion in today's money. But even that might be an understatement. Unlike modern billionaires, Mansa Musa didn't just own companies or assets. He controlled the source of wealth itself. Gold mines, trade routes, entire economies, which is why many historians agree. Mansa Musa was the richest person who ever lived. Mansa Musa's influence didn't end with his life. His pilgrimage put Mali and Africa on the global map. European mapmakers began including Mali in their maps. Some even depicted Mansa Musa holding a gold nugget, symbolizing his unimaginable wealth. His investments in education and infrastructure left a lasting intellectual legacy. But over time, the Mali Empire declined. Internal conflicts, external pressures, and shifting trade routes weakened its power. Yet, the story of Mansa Musa remains, a reminder that Africa had powerful empires long before colonial times. Wealth and influence existed outside Europe, and history is far more global than many realize. So when we talk about the richest people in history, we often think of modern billionaires. But long before them, there was a king who traveled with so much gold. He changed economies, who built cities of knowledge, and left a legacy that still echoes today. Mansa Musa, the richest man in history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Would you have wanted to witness Mansa Musa's legendary journey? Because history isn't just about the past. It's about understanding the world we live in today.